I never wanted to start this brand.
What you doing, Hart?
I am designing genie pants.
Excited to have custom pants for us and also to share. We're gonna get a couple extras made to see if anybody is, just gauge the interest, see if this could be a business.
I chose to be a musician at age 12 and I've made that commitment.
Women would come up to her after shows and they would say, oh my God, I'm so moved by your performance, like your songs really touched me. And by the way, where did you get that outfit? And Hart would say, I designed it.
Yep.
And the next question they would always say is, can I buy it? Can I buy one? And she'd go, what if you wouldn't actually lose anything by sharing the designs? What if on the other side of your fear was actually amazingness? And I think that was when you started to open your mind that this could be something.
Something that other people mostly don't know is at the age of 13, I started hand making my own hemp necklaces. And at age 14, I started making t-shirts and I had them screen printed and I started selling them. It was t-shirts, jewelry, some drawings that I hand painted or hand drew. And I started making money for myself as an young entrepreneur.
We didn't have a lot of money at the time. I was like, I'll put that down $300 and we'll sell the pants. I'll get my money back that I invested, but you keep all the profit.
There's one specific moment I remember when I met a young woman at a coffee shop actually, and we just like used their bathroom. And I put some things on her and I was just like saying how she deserved to feel feminine in clothing. And whatever I was intuitively saying, she just started bawling. And she looked in the mirror, she's like, this is the most feminine I've ever felt in my life. And I've wanted to connect to this energy, but I haven't known how.
Yep, go for it.
So most of you do not know this, but I never wanted to start this brand. And when I was making clothes for myself to perform, because I'm a singer, I thought that if other women were wearing the clothes that I designed, that I would just lose all of my uniqueness and my identity, and I was afraid of it. Yeah, I was really afraid of it.
Yeah, and that was 5 years ago.
Yep.
And since then, everything's changed.
Everything's changed. It's been beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you don't know who this is, I'm sure you all do. This is Hartwell Sawyer, the face and founder of Royal Codes. And I'm Ryan Fontana. I am the co-founder and CEO of Royal Codes. And today in this video, we're actually gonna pull open the curtain and let you guys in on the origin story of Royal Codes, how it started, the journey of what it's taken to got to where it is today, and some of the beautiful lessons and nuggets that we've learned along the way.
Yep.
And some funny stories.
Yep.
Yeah. So where should we start? Like, how does Royal Codes start?
I think sharing a moment when you witnessed that happening after a show. Where I was just like, I was such a closed no.
Yeah.
No and never.
Okay, let me set it up for them. So in 2018, Hart and I started dating, and I would go see her perform at some shows because she's an amazing singer-songwriter. She's an amazing designer, but she's an even more amazing singer-songwriter. I would watch her perform these shows on stage on the piano, and she would wear these outfits that she had designed for herself, and it would help her feel larger than life. It allowed her legs to be exposed, but still provide coverage. And women would come up to her after shows, and they would say, oh my God, I'm so moved by your performance. Like, your songs really touched me. And by the way, where did you get that outfit? And Hart would say, I designed it.
Yeah.
And the next question they would always say is, can I buy it? Can I buy one? And she'd go,
no.
And why not?
Oh, it's just for me. You know, I mean, it was an absolute no.
Yeah.
I really didn't think that I would ever sell the clothes. That to me was like my identity as an embodied artist. Like, why would I share that?
For you, it was something you created so you could feel unique, larger than life, and different, stand out, right?
Beautiful, and
comfortable.
Comfortable. That was a big one. Comfortable, but there was like something just really sexy and sensuous about the pieces that helped me feel feminine and empowered at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember this happening enough times over the course of a year that I was like, one day I was like, hey, why do you say no? And she shared with me the reason why. And I said, well, what if you wouldn't actually lose anything by sharing the designs? What if on the other side of your fear was actually amazingness? What if you were able to create impact and help women feel sexy and comfortable, and you actually didn't lose anything, but you actually gained something larger than you can even imagine? What if? What if you built a brand and did that? And I could see like a little crack of consideration.
Yeah, a crack of consideration.
It was still not a yes.
It still was not a yes.
You're
And
like,
I think it was just like a second or third time you like just offered it, because you have so much wisdom, and you're also an amazing coach.
Yeah.
I just was like, maybe I do have a limiting belief that I need to work through, because I'm so down to be a better version of myself.
Let's call it what it is. You're DTE.
I'm DTE.
Which is a phrase that we use, acronym for
down to evolve.
I'm down to evolve. I'm DTE.
Yeah, DTE. So is this a limiting belief that I need to work through? Maybe. Is there something that could actually support me on the other side of supporting other people? Maybe.
Yeah.
But I was such a strong no that when like sometimes you have such a big, like a bump inside yourself or something, it's like a feeling of constriction. What I have learned is there is maybe a reason, a belief or a story or something on the other side of that feeling. And I was just willing to look at it. And I think there was just, at some point I was like, you know what if? And what's interesting was, in order for it to be yes, another thing that most people don't know was that the clothes used to cost a lot more, because it was just pure designer clothing that I would make one item at a time, and it was custom chosen for a person. So it was like,
well, hold on. Let me actually hopscotch the story to the next point, okay?
He's good at hopscotching.
We'll come back to that. I just want to touch on that piece though. You said though, is like behind your fear. I said, what if it's the opposite? And I find like in life that it seems to be the case. A lot of times our greatest fear, when we finally cross that threshold, most times in my experience, it's like, not only is it not true of what the greatest fear was, but sometimes it's the opposite. It's like, oh shoot, I was so scared, but actually there's all this amazingness on the other side. So hop forward from that moment of like, oh, maybe I could open myself up to it.
yeah.
Hart and I were in Bali. We performed at Bali Spirit Fest in 2019, I want to say, 18 or 19. And we had just come from Los Angeles, where Hart had made she had these genie pants, okay? They're really soft. She made them for herself. And one night when I was staying over at her place in LA, I put them on the next morning. I was like, ooh, these are cool, like super boho styly. So she let me wear them. And for my birthday, she actually got another pair made for me in Los Angeles, and they were awesome, but really expensive. I think they cost like $85 to produce one pair. So I cherish them. And when we came to Bali to go to Bali Spirit Festival, we said, hey, before we go to this festival, why don't we just spend some time in Ubud and try to find a place that we can produce another pair of these. We can each get a couple more, and maybe they'll be a little bit cheaper. So we went on Google Maps, we looked for a tailor, we went to the first place and showed them what we wanted to make, and they were like, no, we don't work with this material, but just walk down the street and there's a guy on the right that'll help you. So we stumble into this little ma and pa shop.
So small.
Tiny little spot with this like man working there, Hawaiian. And we proceed to talk to him and show him the pants. And he's like, yeah, I can make these for you. So we're like, okay, let's get some made. How many should we get? He's like, how many do you want? And I was like, how much are they? And he was like, it basically came out to $30 with the labor and the material. And we said, okay, well, that's better than LA. I mean, I'll get one, you'll get one. I think we said maybe we'll get an extra one. So there was 3. We're gonna get 3 pants, which is gonna be about $90. And I was like, well, what if we actually ordered more, Hart? What if we got like 10 pants and then we sold the rest and it can help pay for our pants? And Hart's like, oh, I don't know, it's a lot of money. It was like $300 for a maybe. And I felt so confident about this. I was like, I swear we could sell these. I was like, here, how about this? I'll put down the $300. We didn't have a lot of money at the time. I was like, I'll put down $300 and we'll sell the pants. I'll get my money back that I invested, but you keep all the profit. And that was an irresistible offer. And you said, of course, let's do that. So put down the $300, which felt like a big deal. Here's the thing. We performed at Bali Spirit Festival. We came back a week later because the tailor told us the pants were ready. And we picked them up. We tried them on. They're amazing. So comfortable. I would say almost better than what we had from LA. The material is more what we wanted. And we left that place with our pants both on and a bag full of the remaining 8 pants. and I really wanted to get a coffee. So we went to this spot up the street. We drive 1 minute up the road, we pull over on the side in front of this coffee shop, and what do you know, but the guy who was running the stage of Bali Spirit Festival that we made friends with walks out of the coffee shop and he's like, guys, what's up, Heart and Soul? And we're like, hey, he's like, those are cool pants. And we're like, yeah, we just made them actually. He goes, no way. Do you have any more? And we're like, yeah, we do. He's like, can I buy some? And we're like, yeah, how many do you want? He's like, I'll take 3. And he's like, how much are they? And Hart was like, $150 a pair. And he was like, done. Didn't even try them on. Gave us the money, took the pants, we parted ways. And I remember as he drove away, I looked over at you and I was like, do you realize what just happened? Like,
what just happened?
We literally just sold all the pants, not all the pants. Oh no, here's what I said. Like, do you realize what just happened? We literally just paid for our entire order and now we have all these pants to sell. Mm-hmm. And for me, it just really proved the concept, like, you created these pants for yourself, I put them on at your house, I loved them, we got them made, and then somebody else saw them and loved them and then bought them. Mm-hmm. And I think that was when you started to open your mind up to this could be something.
Yeah, especially because I've been a lot of my life just like a struggling artist, living on a struggling artist diet. And so when I thought there could actually be an opportunity where I don't have to like, I know I can eat food every day and not be like, oh, I should eat boiled eggs. That was like my life for a while. In LA, I was like, oh, what if there is value in me like not being so attached to this has to be mine and only mine, and I can share it and someone can also be benefited, get joy out of it, and it can be a win-win. Yeah.
It's beautiful too, because I feel like life a lot of times will give us these breadcrumbs to follow.
Right.
And I remember when we first started dating and hanging out with you, it was, people would come up to you after your shows and ask where they could get your stuff. But I also remember telling you to bring some clothes that your friend had made, or like even selling some of your old stuff at like, we went to this mastermind in Costa Rica, and I remember bringing this duffel bag of these like shloks, which are like kind of like robes.
My friend Heather Brand's pieces.
Yeah, and like she gave some of them to Hart and we brought them. I was like, why don't we try to sell them? And like Hart gets to the retreat, we open up the bag, and next thing you know, our entire room is filled with like people, and she's just slinging these shloks, and people are buying them left and right. We pretty much sold all of them on this thing, and
which was a game changer for me. It helped me so much financially, but it also started enlivening this purpose that I kind of forgot about. That's and also had just decided to dissolve. So something that other people mostly don't know is at the age of 13, I started hand making my own hemp necklaces. And at age 14, I started making t-shirts and I have them screen printed and I started selling them. And my dad would travel to festivals and I would sell these clothes at Christian festivals. More specifically, it was t-shirts, jewelry, some drawings that I hand painted or hand drew. And I started making money for myself as an young entrepreneur and reselling vintage clothes and vintage jewelry.
Your grandmother taught you how to do that, right? Like flipping like jewelry and stuff like that?
Yeah, and so until like, I think it was like, before I moved to LA, I decided that I was no longer going to diversify my focus, and I just want to put all my eggs in one basket. And in doing so, I shrunk my potential to add value in fashion, creative, different ways like that. I just completely focused on music, and I was struggling financially because then it was like the only money I was really making was from shows, and sometimes people didn't want to invest a lot. And so I was like, oh my God, price of rent, price of food in LA, willingness to pay me for just that. And so what I started to realize was the bottleneck of my ability to actually add value to people's lives in more ways was the same bottleneck for me to also be able to like make a livelihood where I wasn't worried about where is my money coming from every month and the struggle that I was experiencing on a regular basis. And like, so what's beautiful is like, I do have these photos of me selling jewelry in my teens. And after having that experience, I realized that I actually love to see someone and go, ooh, how would this necklace fit? How would that clothing fit? Because it's a way to connect to someone with a lot of love and enthusiasm. And for me, it's not like, oh, I just need to sell the thing. I'm actually having fun sharing the connection and uplifting someone's moment. Like, ooh, that looks amazing. And also, I don't bullshit. So I'm really authentic about what color looks good on someone, or what style looks good on, or what fit, or like, it's so real for me in that moment that it's such a charged, exciting energy, actually. And it was like you saying, yes, I'll help you, unlock this whole world that had been dormant for so many years.
And the thing is, like, I know about this about you, you're the enchantress because you can actually see like the upgrade. And so you're just communicating what you're seeing that could happen, you know, and people love that. But yeah, I think the universe leaves breadcrumb trails, and I saw this breadcrumb trail being like heart and fashion. People trust her with style. She can sell stuff. And there was this moment I remember as well. This was a really special moment actually when I think I asked Heart, like, so how long have you been making clothes for? And she said that you told me about you pinning your brother's clothes up. What did you say?
The first time I remember looking in the mirror, and
how old were you?
Like 10, 9, 10. And like fashion is like t-shirts and jeans and fabrics that don't stretch, that make you look really boxy. And at that age, I think that's around the time that I witnessed Jessica Rabbit and seeing her shape. And I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I look like a boy. And I was a late bloomer. So I'm like, how can I look more feminine? And I took my brother's wife beater that was like long. And I took, it's a tank top essentially. And I took safety pins, and I had a little butterfly safety pin I put on the shoulder, but I safety pinned the sides, and I tried to hide it to where it gave me shape. I remember looking in the mirror for the first time and feeling like I could identify as looking more girly versus just like a boy. And I was like, ooh, and I had no boobs. But I was like, ooh, this is nice. And that's where it all started. And I started going to Goodwills. So I grew up on Goodwills and thrifted clothes. And I think that that's actually a really valuable thing. I, came from very humble upbringings. And so most of my entire experience of shopping was yard sales, Goodwills, or thrift stores.
Hand-me-downs.
Yeah, or hand-me-downs. And because that's what we could afford. And what I also started to learn over time is like, I love taking pieces, but none of it almost ever fit my body right. I would just look boxy, or something would be too tight or too loose. And so I started hand sewing things. And sometimes I would hire friends that could sew because I suck at a machine. I would get support and sew things. And also my mom was really good at sewing things. And this is a value. She made me my first genie pants from the itchiest fabric, gold, like, oh, it was so awful to wear, but the fit was so cute. And that was my first genie pants, was me being I Dreamy Genie. I think I was like 9 years old. And since then, I wished that I had had genie pants that were comfortable, that fit amazing. So there's different times in my life where I love fashion, but I needed to alter it, or it wasn't good enough, but I wanted to change it. And so that's when I started really becoming passionate about fashion and how I could modify clothing to fit me better. And also something that I found interesting was when I started going through my spiritual awakening, I was reading things about if you wear hand-me-downs or old clothes, it's kind of like having like old crystals that haven't been cleansed. And I was like, wait, are my clothes holding a lot of dense energy from other people? When I go into a Goodwill, I started thinking differently. I was like, is this like musty energy versus fresh energy? And so that's when I started taking fresh fabric and then hand making it, or hiring someone to do it, because I was like, I actually want fresh energy. I value that now. Yeah.
So back to when I asked Heart, like, when did you start making clothes? She was like, oh, I used to actually take my brother's tank tops when I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I wanted to feel more feminine, so I would pin them up in a way that would give me shape. And so she started seeing clothing as a way to do that. And I was like, oh my God, wait, you're telling me that you've been doing this since you were a kid? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I just had something inside of me that was like, I want to make this like little girl dream come true. I remember thinking that to myself. I was like, this is deeper than just like, this is a deeper thing that I want to support. I love when I see somebody that I love doing something that they were doing when they were a kid. To me, that's like the biggest breadcrumb trail. Like for me, that I was dancing around in my living room doing music and wanting to be a rock star. So, of course that we're doing that now as well as musicians. But anyway, so when she said that it started then, I'm like, okay, let's do this. And so I remember, so fast forward from when we sold those first pants, Heart started doing these one-on-one fittings. This is like in 2019 in Bali, and we had these black duffel bags, and we would show up to these one-on-one fittings that you would schedule with some people who had expressed interest in these clothes.
I had to get their sizing. I would make things ahead of time. They would choose the colors.
Yeah.
It was as
Got a whole
custom as
book
it could be.
of the colors.
There was no World Codes tags or a brand name at this point.
Yeah, and you were selling mainly like three things. There was like a pair of a skirt, a top, and a cape.
Yep.
Or for men, it was a tank top, a cape, and the genie pants.
Yep.
Those were like the main things that we would sell. And we'd show up and do the one-on-one fittings, and it would be like a whole transformation. There's many moments when women would cry, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah. There's one specific moment I remember when I met this young woman at a coffee shop, actually, and we just like used their bathroom. And I could feel and sense, so I'm highly intuitive, and I could feel some things about her wanting to connect to her femininity, and so she started opening up about this, and I just started talking to her in a really beautiful way and like holding space for her experience. And I put some things on her, and I was just like saying how she deserved to feel feminine in clothing, and whatever I was intuitively saying, she just started bawling in my arms. And she looked in the mirror, she's like, this is the most feminine I've ever felt in my life. And I've wanted to connect to this energy, but I haven't known how. And I remember thinking, and it gives me goosebumps, like that was what was happening for women. There was an actual activation and a shift in their state and a shift in their belief and even in their worthiness that they wanted on the other side of what their normal fashion experience was. They wanted to feel more sensuous and more feminine and more beautiful, but they didn't know how. And this was like such a deep transformational moment for them to feel that. And the biggest question I had was, how can this translate online? Like, I'm here.
Well, we didn't even get there yet, actually. Yeah. I remember we go to these one-on-one fittings, and I would watch these transformations happen, and that's when I realized, like, okay, on paper we're selling clothes, but really we're selling transformation. There's something magic in the fabric or in the design that was created, where it's this unique blend of sexy, classy, and comfortable, and also breaks the standard template that people see when they go shopping. That's like the main thing that I saw was like, that's what they felt. It felt otherworldly, it felt different, but also comfortable. And when they would look at themselves in the mirror, they're like, whoa, I feel so like royal. That's what they would say. I feel so royal.
I feel like a queen.
I feel like a queen. And that's where the breadcrumb of Royal Codes, the name kind of started. But I remember we did a bunch of these fittings. I think back then, by the way, no brand name. A set cost $440 US, which at the time I was like, I feel like that's expensive, but you were like, it needs to be worth it for the time and energy invested to go there and do all this stuff. Like, and women were buying it. And there's times when we would do a fitting and they'd be like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. And I remember how much energy that would take from you. And I remember we got to a point where I was like, you know what, we're spending a lot of time in these fittings and they're great and all, but it's not sustainable or scalable. And that's when I said to you, I'm like, what if we took this online? What if we partnered in this? Because at this time I was just supporting,
That was
really.
his first time he proposed to me. I want to be a partner.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, what if we were to take this online? I love brand building and marketing and the psychology of all this. And like, I can figure out how to build a website. I've never done it.
I'm shit at websites.
I've never done it. I know how to use a camera. I love branding. I love marketing. I see the vision. I said, I feel like there's $1 million brand here.
Yep,
and let's do this.
That is what you said.
And you're like, let me think about it. You're like, I don't know. I've never like partnered with anybody and like.
Yeah.
You were like,
Yep.
You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know.
If you could go back to that version of you who was thinking about it, what would you tell them, knowing what you know now?
I'm not sure. It worked out good. It worked out well. I mean, but the thing is, like,
You would say it worked out well?
That was the process. That was the moment of my process. Like, because I feel like we made beautiful, proper decisions. I don't know that there's anything I need to say other than keep going.
Yeah.
You know, because.
Yeah.
I know that one thing that you had said from a professional standpoint was like, when I make a decision to choose, so I chose to be a musician at age 12, and and I've made that commitment. When I choose something, I choose it powerfully. So the reason why it took me time to discover if this was a choice is because I wasn't going to kind of make the decision.
Yeah.
And also, you had told me once, a lot of times why businesses fail is because they're like, maybe don't give all of themselves to it. They're like, oh, maybe I'll just like dabble, or like, I just knew if I was going to do this, I was going to be all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she said yes. And we, proceeded to shoot some photos and create a brand around it. And, the first launch, I look back at the website now and it's like, it was amazing actually, what we created for what little experience we had. It looked really cool. Tell them how the name Royal Codes came to be.
So Ryan was like, Hart, you've been selling these clothes without a tag or without a brand name. I'm like, so?
I was like, we need to make a brand.
Mom and Paul shop.
Let's pick a name.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, let me think about it. And, I'm a bit spiritual when it comes to certain choices I make. And I actually sat and I closed my eyes and I just was like, okay, this is a pivot in my life choice that I didn't see. So let me just like call upon the higher powers. What does this brand want to be called? And I heard as clear as day, and I also saw the words Royal Codes. And I had heard women and men also try the clothes on, like, oh, I feel like a king, I feel like a queen. And yes, that was inception, but I wasn't sitting there thinking, processing. This name dropped in like a download.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It didn't, I don't feel like I came up with it. I feel
Yeah.
like it came to me.
Yeah, it felt right. Remember that.
Yeah.
I remember also being in like you and I were having a ceremony at our house after we had decided the Royal Codes name, and we were like, how do we translate this like deep transformational experience that we have one-on-one with women into the online? And that's when this idea of the invocation card came through, which is what we include with every Royal Codes purchase to this day. It's upgraded in terms of its look and design and feel, but the words are still the same.
And that came through in a ceremony.
It came through in a ceremony.
And we just like sketched it out. I was like, oh, this is a way to support translating. These aren't just clothes.
Yeah.
This is an invitation and
to embody a more powerful version of
you. Because if I'm not there in person, and because we care so much about a woman's experience with the clothes, and we're not there to support, how can we give that energy and unlock and with the invitation?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Where should we jump to in the story now? I mean, we launched that first website. Should we tell them what actually happened?
With the website?
Yeah.
Totally.
So we
put so much time.
We put so much time into this, right? We did the photos.
This is during COVID, also, by the way. Yeah.
No, actually, right before COVID. So we did the first draft of the website. Built it on Squarespace, by the way. And if you know anything about Squarespace, it's like website builder. It's not made for e-commerce, but they have a little bit of e-commerce functionality. I built it.
Yeah, we did great.
It was beautiful. I asked Hart, okay, I think we should, what are the prices going to be? And Hart's like, it needs to be the same price as the one-on-one. It was like really expensive. And I was like, I think it's too expensive. And she's like, nope, it needs to be that. And I was like, okay. So we put it up and we're like, guys, we're launching the website. And we launched it, crickets.
I mean, there was
one woman. I wish we could find her name. We could probably find it somewhere. One woman purchased, but that was it. And this was on November of 2000, like November 19th of 2019, okay? Crickets. We're like, shit. I was like, I think the price was too high. I'm like, shit.
Maybe this was not a viable decision.
Fast forward to April of 2020, COVID had already started and we were in Bali. And I'm like, I think we should do something with this. And so I
had an idea.
You had an idea. You had an idea.
So I had been making some masks. So during that time, everyone wore masks.
Yeah, back then.
And we had bought some from some other place. I was like, what if we just make our own? So I started,
with our buttery soft material.
Yeah. So I started making my own mask, and I was like, what if it'd be nice if other people would like these masks? They're soft. And then the idea was, what if, as a give back during COVID, we offer everything at 30% off, plus you get a free mask.
Yeah.
So we ended up launching that gift and discount, and it just popped.
Yeah, this is on April 17th, which is our Royal Codes birthday of 2020. That's when we officially launched, I would say, Royal Codes.
Yeah.
And people were just buying.
Yeah.
It was great. I think also everyone was at home, and during COVID.
Yeah.
Mask, cool clothes. The price was more reasonable.
Yeah.
And that's when orders started coming in. We're like, oh, shoot, okay, this is working.
Yeah, and it was just interesting to see, there was a great value in me doing style designing and customizing as a fashion designer, but for it to be a viable product online for people to understand, the 30% off is what hit people. And also something for me was I've been working on some of these designs for over 15 years. So I was just there's so much energy invested. The price has to be this for it to even make sense for me to say yes. And then I just kept opening myself. I'm we're just here in our belief systems, and I was just down to make it easier and more affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really beautiful to see that happening. And man, after that, the story gets a little fuzzy. I feel like we just kept creating and doing things. At the very beginning, Royal Codes, everything was made to order. Yep. That whole order from the website on that birthday, it's we took those orders in, they paid for it, and it was now we had to get it made. Mm-hmm. And then now we had to ship everything one by one out of Bali direct to customer.
One.
So we started with one assistant who would help us, Nava, such a sweetheart. That's the thing about our team too, is we all work together. It started with Nava. She was our first employee. We've always been such family. Even our first assistant, Nava, we were just we'd hang out. She would cook food with us. She, bless her heart, she would write every single order by hand, their name, the address, and then take each one to the post office. Mm-hmm. And we did made to order probably for the first couple of years, actually. Mm-hmm. And slowly started making a little bit of stock here and there. Yep. It's kind of a hybrid model for a while. And I would say that system, we reached the upper limits of that system, I'd say, in 2023. Yep. And I knew at a certain point we would have to go full stock in a US-based warehouse.
Yeah.
But before that even happened, I would say we started to build our actual team, and some real angels started to show up into our world. The first one in particular is Chantel. She still works with us. She's head of product development and does design with heart and is our operations as well. She does so many things. She's such an amazing teammate.
She's a total sister.
She's a total sister. We love Chantel. Yeah. We actually, funny story, she was working at a corporation in Canada, one of the largest sports apparel retailers. And she was doing 1,000 SKUs a month of design, a weapon. And my friend Angus, who we had met years ago doing music, just called me out of the blue during COVID and was hey bro, your name came up. I heard you started a fashion brand with heart. How's that going? I'm it's going pretty good actually. It's growing fast. He's wow, yeah, that's what I heard. He's congratulations. He goes, what's your plan to scale? And I was it's so funny you just asked me that. That's exactly what I'm trying to figure out. He goes, I started dating this girl. Her name's Chantel. She works at this spot. She's a weapon. I think you should talk to her. Maybe she could help, or I don't know. So we started talking, and it started to formulate of well, what if she came out to Bali? What if her and Angus both came out, because she does fashion at a high level, he does music as a producer, and Hart and I do music and fashion. We're wait a minute, this couple can come out, and what if it just amplifies everything we're doing in our music and in our fashion? Mm-hmm. And we made a proposal. They came out to test it for 3 months, and that 3 months is now turned into nearly 3 years.
Yep.
And they're indispensable parts of our team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of this journey for us, one of the challenges of growing this business together is at the beginning when you're a founder, you're wearing all the hats at once.
So many hats, and you're designing the hats too.
Designing the hats, wearing all the hats. You gotta do I was doing customer service and web design.
Yeah,
and
he was single-handedly responding to all the customers if there was any issues via email.
Yeah, and it was just draining me.
Yeah.
And this process of growing this business has been such a beautiful learning. And it's any founder will share with you, it's all about learning to let go of control and really hiring the right people and trusting them to get into the right positions and growing together. And me personally, I actually went to business school. I got a degree in entrepreneurship. I spent 4 to 5 years in college. And what's really funny is I really feel the school of business, the real world school of business, that is Royal Codes, that is just the business venture, has taught me so much and has really built us into the people that we are today. I look back at who we were 5 years ago, and we were just like kids. You know, the amount of responsibility and ownership that we have learned to hold has really matured us in a beautiful way. Yeah, I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of us.
Same.
What we've created.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you went to business school. Like, also Asian ingenuity here. Like, I didn't know how to make a website.
Yeah.
I went to college for music, and it was partial classical training, operatic, and then also commercial. But my skills that I learned about how to do this was just from my own creative curiosity, my desire to make magic, and also being a teenager, wanting to figure out how I could like create some beautiful things. Like, I think me as a teenager, like making those choices helped impact myself as an entrepreneur, because I didn't go to school for business. So I very much learned it in the field.
You know, it's funny, I went to school for business, and I got a degree in entrepreneurship, and I really can't tell you what I learned, I swear. I took economics classes, I took math, I took like marketing, but I really don't remember. I partied so much in college. I feel like college is a social thing, honestly, and I did learn some stuff, but I learned way more. I just feel like you learn more when you actually apply stuff and when there's actually something on the line.
And risks.
And there's risk. Like, you have to figure it out in real time, and it matters. You're not just doing a homework assignment.
Exactly.
But I do think I would like to rewind, because a really special piece of this puzzle is not just the team that's come on for the leadership, but the team that we've built everything with.
Yeah.
So, you know, I told you the story of how we walked into that tailor's shop and met Wyan. From the first pair of pants that we made, we grew with this man, and we still work together to today. But we were working with him completely solo at the beginning, doing everything made to order. And we started with, 10 pants, and then maybe
he also had other customers.
20, right? Just slowly growing, right? Bit by bit by bit. But it got to a certain point after the first year or two when we were like, we actually need to have more production capacity. And one of his dreams was to actually own his own production facility. He didn't have that before. He was just a tailor in his like little hole in the wall shop. And so as we started to earn more money from Royal Codes and the business was like turning revenue, we said, well, actually, what if we worked together with Wyan and we're actually able to help him invest and build his own production facility? So we did that. He was able to find this parcel of land up in Sukawati near Ubud, and we gave him basically a loan to help build this production facility. And it's amazing. We went to the groundbreaking ceremony. I remember being in my Balinese outfit. You're in your Balinese outfit. We're breaking the ground. You're doing the prayers with the girls. And it was a really special moment.
So special.
Yeah, to build that.
We love the locals. We care so much about the locals.
Does it still look good? Okay.
Sorry, my leg was getting a little...
It's okay. But yeah, we started from like hole in the wall, helped Wyan build his own production facility. It still exists today. It's 2 stories. That's where the majority of our Royal Coats production is done in this facility.
Slow fashion.
Extremely slow fashion, to be honest.
Sometimes we want it faster.
Sometimes we want it faster, but we were more committed to the quality and to the integrity. So we've grown a lot with Wyan, and as we've grown, we've had to work with other suppliers to really help the supply chain. And that's its own challenge, honestly. Keeping things in stock is our biggest challenge right now, which is a good challenge to have. Yeah, but one we're committed to figuring out.
100%.
Yeah. But it's been really beautiful to grow with him together. During COVID, we were his only business. Like, if we weren't doing stuff with him, I don't know what they would have done.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we have a team now. So we've got some really beautiful Indonesians we work with, different seamstress teams that are local. And then there's a bunch of people on our team I've never even met, like our emails team and other people. But
agencies
I think,
and things.
because I've met a lot of the seamstresses, but I imagine like we're upwards of 40 plus people on the Royal Codes team that help make it happen for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is in the journey? Well, I remember we got our first brick and mortar store, our first physical store after doing business online for I think 4 years.
Yeah.
No, maybe 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And then we invested in our first actual physical store here in Bali in Canggu. And what was that journey like for you?
You know, I don't have, it's one thing to decorate your house, okay? Because I feel like sometimes I'm like, I'm a young entrepreneur that's still like sometimes party on Friday, but I am down to hustle, but I do not have experience with this. I have experience with just like, oh, what would look pretty? So we had to really use just the shared vision of what could be right, but also functionally, we're like, does this work? Is this how you hang clothes on the wall? Like, we didn't know. We were just working with some locals that would help like design it out, but we could have been basic about it. Be like, you know what? This is a old tattoo place. Like, we could just paint the walls white, but we're like, why don't we make this a beautiful place where women can come in and be enchanted? And so we actually invested more to turn it into a bit of a temple and a beautiful place. And I'm so glad that we did that, but we don't shortcut if we feel like there's more value on the other side for women and our customers. Yeah,
we found this spot. It was literally like all black. It was an old tattoo shop in Canggu, but it was right across the street from one of our favorite spots, Penny Lane, where we would do some photo shooting.
Which, put a pin in that, I literally said, I want the Royal Code store to be by Penny Lane.
And we literally found a spot across the street from it.
Literally.
It's funny because we went to look at it. We made a meeting with the owner, and we were in there looking at it. We're like, should we get this one? I don't know. It's kind of dark. It's kind of like, I'm not really sure, but the location's good. And as we were in this meeting, these two people walk up. They're like, hey, I just saw the for sale sign. Is this place for rent? And the landowner that we were with is like, yeah, it is. And we're like we gotta jump on this right now.
Yeah.
Make the bond. Sahilu. So we basically like put an offer in, locked it in, and it's funny because in Bali they'll tell you that a renovation will take X amount of time and always takes twice as long. That exactly thing happened here. It was like 3 months to renovate, turned into 6 months, right? 6 months of our lease, we were paying rent and had no store. Yeah. It got so hard towards the end for me. I was just so over it. I was like, this is taking so much energy.
One of the hardest parts of it was Ryan's resistance. We would meet there, and sometimes
these meetings.
Also, there were some challenges where they would like give us a different price, and then it was like a lot more expensive, or just like some frustrations in the process. Where like, I don't have a lot of experience in building things like this.
Yeah, we did it though.
We did. We made it through, but I think at some point, it was just like, you were hitting your capacity as to like, I don't know, this is women's fashion. You're kind of like, I was like, we'll make it through. But it's been so beautiful to make it on the other side. And now we are planning to open one in Ubud.
Yeah, we found a spot, and I think we're gonna get to lock it in. So insider information, we can let them know. It's fine. Okay. Don't tell anyone. It's actually a great segue, because the reason that we are doing these videos actually is we realize that there's so many lessons that we've learned, so many nuggets of value that we would love to just share. Because here's the thing, we've built this brand and it's beautiful. It's a globally recognized brand around the world, loyal following, beautiful community. At the end of the day, we're just two kids that are figuring it out, and we still are, to be honest. I mean, we're a little bit older kids, but we're still kids at heart. And if we can do it, so can you, and you can do it in your own way. And so the intention with these videos is really to just let you in on our world, share whatever value we can, and inspire you to go out there and create whatever it is that you are most passionate about creating and sharing with the world.
Mm-hmm. What is interesting about fashion is that like for me, it's not for the faint of heart.
Oh, okay.
It's not for the faint of heart. I had no idea what level of hydraulics and power and discipline and dedication and focus. Because I think from the outside, because I was just making clothes like kind of whimsically and for fun. But then when it came down to all of the systems and logistics and specificities and size grading and customer service, there were so many layers to building this business that just as a artist and as a designer, I had no idea what it would entail. And that's one thing, is like there were some times when Ryan and I would forget to eat and we were exhausted and might be putting in 60 plus hours because it was just us. I think if there was any advice I would give, because I also grew up in a family where my parents were business owners, and sometimes I remember thinking, as I would watch them build their business, to save money, they would wear all the hats and take on all the responsibilities. But there's a lot of sacrifice on the other side of not getting support. And I remember thinking at the beginning that it was like similar, like I was doing this and this and this. I'm editing the photos, we're taking the photos, we're building the website, we're managing so many things, because there's like the DIY, do-it-yourself kind of philosophy. But in order to build and to scale, and also to preserve your essence and not to be so run down and so stressed, it's important to find other people who can wear that hat, that might actually enjoy it more, that also might have some skill set that you don't have. Just because you can do it as an entrepreneur doesn't mean you should. And one thing that you taught me was, what got you here won't take you there. And that's been something that I would occasionally repeat in my mind. I'm like, okay, I've been hustling and doing this and stressing myself out, and like a few times I feel like I definitely burnt out from emotional stresses, relationship stresses. Other things in life can stress you out, and then if there's so much pressure to hold it all, there's a chance you could drop it all. And I just see the inherent value of valuing other human resources and other people and calling them in. Like sometimes I have made manifestation lists and prayers before, like, can we please find someone that could do this? We need help. And I really feel like on the other side of wishing for support, there has been so much support that has shown up. And I feel like that's the way to build something powerful, is the team, yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work. And that's, I think, one thing that I have really learned from this, is the support is so important, yeah.
I feel like a good way to finish it then, Hart, is, I know you say you started this fashion because you didn't want to start it. Mm-hmm. So if so, why is that? What keeps you going? I don't feel like you're doing it because you just want to maintain it. You want to do it because you want to expand it. Mm-hmm. So why is that you want to keep doing Royal Co? I don't even use the word keep.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Considering I never wanted to build this brand or be known as a fashion designer, what keeps me going and what excites me is, I really love when I find out the positive impact that the clothes have made on so many thousands of women's lives. Mm. And, you know, because that's kind of was such a charge when we would have these one-on-one fittings and women having these transformational experiences. And, you know, I get messages, but I also see the reviews on certain items, and it makes me so happy to feel the impact. And what it's become about is not only the impact on women and their experience, but also, like, a deeper cut for me is supporting divine feminine activation in the world. And that is a bit spiritual, but from the beginning, when I asked Spirit, what should this brand be called, I heard it and I saw it, and it didn't come from me. I felt like it came through me from somewhere else. And so from the beginning, I felt like there's a bigger calling and a more important reason for royal codes to not only exist, but to thrive and to impact more women, is because I believe that there are codes that come through me that support women feeling sexy and sensuous and feminine and empowered and soft and comfortable and all of that. I don't know any other fashion brand or brand that like focuses more on the values of impact and less on the numbers in the bank. It's not like, you know, it's not about just building a business. It's about creating the impact. And also, I love when, so another thing that charges me to keep going is these new ideas that are springing from, sometimes like I'll wake up and I can't stop thinking about this design of a pant that I want, but I'm like, but then when I architect it like this, and I want it to be comfortable, and this, and I start getting genuinely like so inspired by these ideas and these designs that come to my mind. And then Chantel, or part of the team, we also have like some beautiful other people in the team that help with the designs. We're sharing these ideas, and sometimes what also charges my spirit is these design meetings, which I just had a few hours ago, with new ideas and new fabrics and new things, like, oh my God. And there's a genuine excitement and stoke that I get in the collaborative shared experience with women on the team, and also, you know, these ideas that come from somewhere. I'm like, oh, we have to make that. And then the process to create it can be so beautiful and so fun. Also, part of the process cannot be fun, which is like fine tuning and all the technicalities of it, but I'm willing to move through that to get to the other side, which is helping women around the world feel more beautiful in their skin, feel more comfortable in their body, feel worthy to not sacrifice one for the other. And when it has come down to also this spirit nugget of making really positive impact, I think that when a woman feels good in her body, she's more free to express and illuminate herself through the world. And I think what the world needs is more of that. So it keeps me going. Yeah.
So remember how you started the video where you're like, I was afraid that if I were to share these designs, I would lose something?
Yeah.
What's the truth instead that you found on the other side?
What's funny is that so many women know me around the world now that they don't even know my name, but like, your royal codes. And what's beautiful is that on the other side of the scarcity of not wanting to share with other women, me doing so has created so much connection with women that identify with me as being a friend and a sister. And sometimes I don't even know the women, but I'm pretty open with my spirit, myself. It's like, there's so much connection that would have never happened with so many women without me saying yes. Yeah, and so on the other side is like, there's so many gifts, so much connection, so much beauty, so much positive impact, so many more sexy expressions of the feminine all around the world. And I love that. And as a brand, like, we're just gonna keep evolving, and I'll keep evolving, and that's what it's meant to be. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and I don't think that anyone's ever, even though they wear the design you made, they'll never look like you. You know, every woman actually looks so unique, even though it's the same clothes. It's really interesting, isn't it? It's like it accentuates them in their own unique way.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, she looks just like her.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Exactly.
One thing I love about the community, the women will like give each other their clothes. You got to try on my royal coat here. Just try it. You know, right? They do this all the time.
That's like such a sweet, authentic expression of being like a sister. Because when you're like, if you have a family, like, oh, like hand-me-downs or try on clothes, but like in the truest essence of friendship and sisterhood, when I have heard the countless stories of women that just got royal codes and they want their friend to feel what it feels like to put them on. No. You have to feel what this fabric feels like. It's so soft. It's like good for the environment, and it's gonna make you look so sexy. And seeing like photos and videos of women having that experience is like so fucking genuine.
Yeah.
It's so genuine. Yeah, I love that.
Well, thanks for being a good business partner.
Appreciate
an
you.
An amazing teammate.
Thank you.
And an amazing designer.
Amazing.
And a great leader.
Thank you.
And amazing musician.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
World Codes
I'm proud of what we built.
Would not be around the world without this guy. So thanks to him. You can thank me, but thanks to this guy.
Right. Takes two. What if on the other side of your greatest fear is actually all the magic that you're wishing for in your life that you haven't had yet? What if what you want is on the other side of your full self-expression and beyond the fears that you have in your mind? That's been the journey of Royal Codes, and the journey will continue. And thank you for all of you who've been a part of it and continue to be a part of it. We love you guys.